Hey guys. So, I had some really interesting dreams last night. I literally just woke up. I'm still pretty like, wow, what just happened? And it was happening all night, so it was so crazy. I guess we're gonna have some pretty cool dreams going forward in this new timeline. So, keep a lookout. Maybe keep a pad of paper by the bed for when you wake up. You can write down anything to help you remember certain parts. But I just wanted to talk about some key parts. The first thing that I can remember was being at some kind of a I don't not a it almost seemed like it was a party or a gathering or at a restaurant or something like that. There were all these people kind of milling around, and everything seemed kind of perfectly timed. I just noticed the timing everything was very synchronistic, like synchronized swimming. Um, well, it's like one person would duck and the other person would move a tray over their head, and all of a sudden, it would work out beautifully. They'd raise their head back up and they never got hurt. Like it just seemed almost mechanical, like click, 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 and almost slow motion, but not. It just seemed like it, and I remember this being so like when I was enlightened also, it was just like everything just kind of magically worked out. But I don't remember this necessarily this timing thing, but I do remember an element of just complete trust and surrender. So I'm looking around and there's this incredible timing, and I'm just going, holy cow! Like, I mean, it was very noticeable. I don't know if anybody else noticed, almost as if they were used to it. And for me, it was like, wow, I'm used to a chaotic world where you're kind of afraid that you could get tripped if somebody puts their foot out in the aisle. But it seemed like in this world or in this dream that doesn't happen. Everything just works out. And it's weird that I just said that too, because I saw this couple, and I saw a guy that seemed to be like a true love counterpart. I don't remember who he is or anything like in real life, but just an attractive guy that I felt like I knew from the past, that I was really drawn to, and we both smiled really big looking at each other. And I walked over and I saw that he had a woman with him. So he was like married. It seemed like they were married. And I think I remembered him getting married. And she was leaning down doing something. And I said, "Oh my gosh, is this so and so?" And she looked up and she goes, "Oh my gosh, it is so good to see you." So we all knew each other. And she held me for so long and was so happy to see me, like she wouldn't let go. And it's just in that moment, like everything was fixed. For some odd reason, I felt the guy's pain of feeling like he had made the wrong decision. Like he wanted to marry me, and he married her, and Annie just meowed from in the background. I have no idea who this guy is. I mean, maybe it was I don't know. It's not important, but I think there are going to be some true loves out there that went with the wrong choice. Because I mean, after all this happened and I went through all these dreams that I'm about to explain, I was asking, is this a collective message? And they said, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I feel like a lot of these people, a lot of these divine masculines, so that's male or female, doesn't matter. The ones who ran away from love, that made the wrong decision and went and married somebody else, they're going to be regretful in that world. So I guess that's one. That's not a timing thing necessarily in that world. I don't know how this all comes into play, but it just seemed somehow like it would like things would be set right though. Because I felt okay about it. I didn't feel like I made a wrong decision or that I wish I would be with him or anything. I felt good about it, especially when I held her and she was crying to me and she was like just holding me like for it felt like, I don't know, like I felt like home to her somehow. So yeah, everything was made right in that world, and everything just worked out, and it was beautiful and synchronistic and all this wonderful stuff. So I already had that wonderful dream, and I was like, oh, such a feel good dream. And then for some reason lately, I've been dreaming like in cartoon. I don't I don't know what that means. The only thing I can think of is I've ordered some animal paintings from a place called Pet Tunes. Um, the first time she did something for me, it was incredible. The second time, not so great. So I'm not even necessarily recommending her, but I'm just saying the cartoon kind of looked like that. Um, so yeah, so everything was cartoon in this next part that I'm about to explain. So I go and I'm holding an object and I'm talking to somebody. And I said, I'm going to throw this thing really far away, like into a canyon. I was up on a cliff and I threw this thing into the canyon way at the far end. I don't know how I could have thrown that far, but somehow I was capable of throwing that far. And I knew that my horse and my rat would run after it. There was a horse and a rat eagerly, like, waiting for me to throw this thing. And I just looked at the number 111, by the way. So I threw it, and the horse and the rat took off after it. And I was saying to the person, I think the horse is going to get it. I mean, I would imagine. The horse can cover a lot more distance, spreading its legs, and they're used to running and that whole thing. Well, I guess rats are too, but for some reason I thought for sure the horse would win. But to my shock, the rat got to the object faster and turned around, and the horse was still heading that way. It hadn't even gotten to the object yet. So the rat grabbed the object, turned around, and came running back to me so fast it was surreal, and it was like jumping over things. So it was like leaps and bounds this rat was going, and it headed straight at me. And it scales up the cliff and gets at my feet and jumps up on my shoulder and looks at me with the biggest shit-eating grin. And I just laughed. I was like, "Hey, little guy!" And he looked like he was celebrating with his little arms up in the air, and he had a big piece of cheese. So I was like, "Holy cow!" And I'm like looking at the person next to me, like, "Can you even believe that?" And the horse was still running the other direction. It hadn't even like turned back yet to head back to try to catch up or anything. So I was like, "Whoa!" Kind of like the tortoise and the hare, right? So it's like instead of the hare winning, the tortoise wins. Yeah, it was just crazy. And that all was in cartoon. So then I switch over to another dream. I was outdoors walking somewhere with some people, and I got this idea to go down this trail or something. And it was kind of it was in the morning, so there was still a little bit of fog in the air. But there was sun kind of coming through, and I just was thinking, okay, yeah, let's go this direction. And all of a sudden we were all on a roller coaster, and I was like, what in the world, a roller coaster? And it took off like really fast, and we were all like, whoa. And I just looked at this recorded timing thing. It said 11:11:33 or 11:33, and then I just saw 11:44 and then 11:55. So anyway, so we find ourselves on a roller coaster, and I was like, whoa, we're on a roller coaster. And I started going really, really, really fast, and then it dropped. We start like, we're not on a roller coaster anymore. We're just like free falling. We're still in the roller coaster, but we don't hear the tracks under us anymore. And we realize we're not on the tracks, and we're in a fog. And I could just feel all of our hearts just drop. Like, oh my gosh, what did we do? And why did we go this way? And over to the left, I could see that there were some tracks that were still intact, and they were still going. Nobody was on those rides, but it would have been like, if we would have taken that ride, we would have seen the tracks and everything. But this one was like, all of a sudden we find ourselves flying off the track at full speed, going down, and I remember thinking, or it was down at first, and then it was kind of like across, just to be specific. So it was like down, so we were like, oh, we're on a roller coaster. So that made us realize we're on a roller coaster in this thing. And then we kept going for a bit, and then all of a sudden there was this part where it was just total fog, and then that's when we lost track with the track. And so it was like total silence, and all of us are just like in this moment suspended. And I just keep looking ahead, hoping that there's a track on the other side somehow. And I did. I saw a track, and it started to formulate from the fog, and it got clearer and clearer as it came. And I remember thinking that if we all tipped somehow one way or another, we would end up on the ground. We would, and I didn't know how far down we were or anything, but I didn't want to find out. So I just stayed fixated, completely focused on that track on the other side, and we landed on it perfectly. And I was so relieved, but I remember thinking, oh my gosh, if I would have known that that's what I was getting myself into when I took everybody on that ride, I would not have gone on that ride. Like that was frightening, but at the same time, I also felt really supported by the universe. Like that was it. That was an incredible like test of faith. And I remember feeling important that I focused on what I wanted to see happen, what I wanted there to be. And it worked out, and it manifested, or it lined up to where we all were okay. So then I wake up, and I'm leaving a message for my friend on her phone about all these crazy dreams. I was like, you won't believe. And then there's this, and then there's this. And then in the middle of my last message, Annie started to scratch my bed. And every once in a while, she'll scratch on something really random, and you're just like, "What are you doing?" So I just said, right, and I was still recording, and I said, "No, no, 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 not the bed, honey." And then I went over to brush my teeth, and Nala started to play with my toothbrush, and and I was like, "Nala, that's my toothbrush." And right at that moment, the recording came on. I had been listening to my friend's message on Telegram. And you know how it keeps playing whatever message is next? It had gone into my message about talking about my dream. The message where Annie starts scratching the bed and I tell her no, no. Well, I was brushing my teeth. Nala starts to play with my toothbrush. And I tell her, "That's my toothbrush." And then the recorder says, "No, no. No, no." And Nala looks over at the telephone, at the phone, and looks at me. And I just started laughing. I was like, oh my gosh, it's that timing thing. It was that timing thing, you guys. I'm telling you, there's something magical about what we're coming into here. And obviously there may be some parts up ahead that seem foggy and really frightening. But we just have to stay fixed, keep our vision fixed on the track on the other side and making it to the other side. And and just know that justice will happen with all those things that we felt were unfair about that last timeline too. Okay, so I just looked over at these cards and I think I need to pull one. I thought I would turn this into a reading. I'm sorry about my throat. Apparently there's some communication to be had too. Okay. So can you tell us more about this dream and the energy about it or behind it, or what is it trying to tell us about this portal that we've just gone through, this gateway we've just gone through, the 22222 gateway? Tell us more about this energy, please. The word wants to be written. How interesting, because I said something needs to be spoken. Okay, number 42. 42. Okay. You might have been taught that creativity is something you have to work hard to access, or that finding your life purpose is so difficult that you must search high and low for it. Yet what you are is within you and wants to come out at every possible opportunity. You don't have to struggle so much. Ow. Annie was just tugging at my shirt. It's more about allowing space for it to manifest and to let the energy flow. The real struggle is not in something. It is more not in finding something. It's more about letting go of the idea that you need to search for your path in the first place. Isn't that funny? Wow, that pertains. You see, the process of activating your life path is a natural one. The effort is in getting out of the way, not in making something happen. As for being yourself, that's the foundation from which your true life path will reveal itself. Being yourself becomes easier when you give yourself permission to love, honor, and accept yourself in all circumstances, especially the ones where you might be tempted to reject and judge. Give the sacred rebel within the opportunity to decide your values, irrespective of whether they meet your general social acceptance. This oracle brings you the message that what you are dreaming of or seeking to do, create, live, or manifest is actually very natural for you. This is why you want to do it. If you experienced controlling and manipulative forces as you were growing up, you would have found it hard to access your natural state at that time. You would have been too busy trying to adapt and get through the trials of childhood. When you finished navigating childhood and started to let go of who you were taught to be in order to become who you really are, you may have found your life path was not easily accessible. That is simply because your true and natural self was covered by layers of shame from the early conditioning that you had to be other than you are in order to win love or be acceptable. However, that natural self hasn't gone anywhere. It is still there within you. Now it's just about chipping away at the walls of shame, perhaps with a defiant, "Who the hell cares? I am here and I'm going to love myself anyway." This allows you to risk bearing the feeling of any shame that arises as you release old emotional wounds and break away from any restraints to unconditional self-love. The sacred rebel within can empower you to love yourself no matter what, simply because you want to. You might decide to declare, "I am still lovable," so put that in your pipe and smoke it. It's funny that they put that. This will send an energetic message to whomever shamed you in the first place, whether they meant to or not. Your message could be going to a parent, school teacher, sibling, friend, lover, or anyone else that was struggling enough with their own shame wound that they couldn't help but dump it on you. You can be freed to realize that the shame is just an emotion and not truth, and you can defy any hold it has ever had on you and your ability to love yourself. This oracle brings you the guidance that you are now powerful enough to break the cycle. It's time to stop the shame and claim yourself in love instead. What you want to rewrite, sing, dance, or become is you. It's natural. Drop your defenses, get into the grit, and confront the power that any old shaming has had over you. It's finished now. It's time for you to be naked with yourself, acknowledge how gorgeous you are, and get on with your work. Life is urging you to do so because the work wants to happen. What you want to create wants to be created. The word wants to be written. You just need to let go of any remnants of the past that have been in your way. Step firmly over them and onto your path. Wow. And then the name of the card, the next card, I'm not going to read it, but it says come to life. So it's time to come to life. In whichever way that you've been squashing due to, people pleasing or worry or doubt or who am I to do that, to believe in myself when I don't even have qualifications, that type of stuff. Okay, what other message do you have for us about this dream? What was this dream telling us? So I guess if you look at the roller coaster, yeah, like don't we would have ended up on the other track, is what it's saying. Whatever angst there was in between when we couldn't see was all for naught. Like whatever you were feeling or thinking through that gap, it didn't even matter because we were going to make it to the other side because it was natural. The other side is the real us. So there can be a moment that happens where all of a sudden things start accelerating quickly, or we feel like we're being pushed quickly to do something or to be ourselves. And for a moment, it feels like a fog. And then you somehow have to surrender at that moment and say, okay, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to be authentic. And then you line up with that feeling of that naturalness within you, and it just takes you to the other side. So you may have a moment upcoming where you kind of feel like you're in that fog, you're in that confusion, and then all of a sudden your heart just drops into, you know what, I know who I am. I know who I am, and I'm going to align with that. So that's kind of cool. Okay, so I'm pulling a Kuan Yin card. Love makes all things possible. See, now this is pointing back to the element that I was saying too. And when I was reading that, I was thinking of that couple in my dream that had all this regret, or that he had the regret. So I feel like it was also telling the masculines, like, go after love. And I looked over at the picture of the card, and it has butterflies all over coming out of somebody's third eye. So tons of transformation coming in, or oh yes, okay. So somebody just posted something on Instagram about this last night. It was Starseed 777 or something like that. Look in my stories on Instagram, and you'll find it. But it actually talks about true love coming together at this time as well. And I've always said that as things start to come together in our world, so does true love. And like everything that's been happening in our world has also been a parallel to true love somehow. So, there's an intuitive prompting that they're having to transform and do a lot of transforming, because there's a ton of butterflies flying out of that third eye. Maybe transforming even past lives, layers of past lives and things. So they can, and I just heard a meow, in order to drop the facade, they just said. Love makes all things possible. Take your time, commit to your inner journey, and don't give up. The Divine Mother is always there, and success will be yours. And another Kuan Yin. Your path is before you now. Oh my gosh. Even if you sometimes lack confidence to trust in the path that you're upon, know this: you cannot miss your destiny. I shall guide your feet and inspire your heart to keep you true to your rightful divine life path. Trust me, trust yourself, and take your journey now. Holy cow. Okay, so I'm going to pull some oracle cards. Treasure chest. An unforeseen windfall of new abundance comes to you now. Wow. And I was just thinking, like last night, somebody said that we were going to be going through kind of a tough time financially. But I feel like that's when the humanitarians are going to step in to the rescue. Oh my gosh, ready, set, go. Now is the perfect moment to dive in and embrace your heart's desire. Okay, these are awesome cards. Breaking trail, a breakthrough is at hand. You could even be praying for that. Thank you, God, so much for helping me to see the situation so clearly and to see the steps I need to do, or to have the faith that when I'm in a fog, I can see my way through by just listening to my heart and being my authentic self, because I know I will line up with my natural path if I just do that. And you will have some kind of a breakthrough. Thank you, God, so much for all the incredible epiphanies I always experience and all the leveling up I get to do. Trust that there's a divine plan and everything is perfectly planned. Like that one part in the dream where everything like it was all tick-tock, and it was all like lining up perfectly. So this is almost turning into a love reading. Go deep and explore your roots to really get back in touch with, what's beyond the facade. Okay, busy times and multitasking. Maybe that's what creates the fog. Make time for self-care. So if you've been just busy, distracting yourself, take time to spend some time with yourself and reflect and go deep, and explore your roots. Love life. New or renewed romance. Romantic love is here for you now. You're balancing your feminine and masculine energies right now, so you guys can come into union. All right. It's a good time to give birth to new ideas and situations in your life, because we've just gone through a portal. I'm watching over you, guiding you, and protecting you during these changes. Everything's going to be all right. You are protected from all types of harm. The worst is now behind you, and I ask you to relax and feel safe. Now, this is bringing up what happened to me last night before bed. I said, can I have some confirmation about all this portal stuff and timelines and things? And I got, it's time to decide. And I said, time to decide. I thought I already did. And then I saw the word now, and I said, I choose now. Yes, now. New. Wow. I just said now, but I meant new. That's crazy. So I said, I choose new, meaning that I'm willing to go into the unknown. I'm willing for the whole world to operate in a new way. I'm willing to embrace the new and to embrace the change rather than hold on to anything that makes me feel comfortable, you know? And when I said that, I selected another card, and it was the New Dawn card. And that's also on my Instagram. And it says, the worst is now behind you. You have a smoother, more abundant road ahead, or something like that. Let me just look at it real quick. The worst is now behind you, and positive new experiences are on the horizon. So they were like, good choice. Good choice. And then we have Archangel Raphael. I'm helping you heal physical challenges in yourself and others. You're a healer like me. And now that starseed, I'm going to read that. Because it also talked about how we're focusing on healing right now through this next phase. So let me just see what we got here. What's we got going on here? Here we go. Timeline split. That's the name of it. Funny coincidence, right? Okay, timelines are splitting for the collective. Now it's more to do with individual journey. The path is more specific towards your healing. The tribe has been, and we just talked about the tribe coming together yesterday. The tribe has been grouped smaller, and the soul tribes are all coming together to assist one another. At the same time, a lot of people are being cut off as the karmic contracts are over. So you may be losing a lot of close buddies. Intense upgrades are happening and preparing for the grand union. A lot of balance and growth is happening for the beloveds. Those who did the work will reap the rewards. More triggers on the way to show what's blocking the union and what needs to be worked. Intense love is being bloomed between the counterparts. A lot of truths are being revealed. Stay strong and grounded, especially the divine feminines, because your root, that we just talked about going deep with your roots, because you root this connection, lady. You lead the way and your king follows you. Winds of change is all blowing. It can be seen in the physical world too. And I just had a storm blow by this morning. So it's like a deep cleanse of energy taking place. Even the earth is preparing for the grand unions of the beloveds. Wow. Wow. And that was by at Divine Partnership _love _222. If you guys want to look that person up. So, yeah, amazing, right? Amazing. So, and all that is the stuff that I've been saying about the leveling up and new experiences. And that one thing they've been saying too is you have to let go of the old. You got to let go of the old and take a leap of faith as to what you're being called to. No matter what wonderful thing you were getting out of those past relationships, it's time to either find those things within you or find them in a different way, or just have faith that you're going to have enjoyment again. But you have to cut that thing out. Easy does it. They said it's toxic things. They're talking about toxic or stale things that just aren't going anywhere, or that aren't genuine. Just like I said yesterday, they're not genuine. They're not honest. They're not vulnerable. If you have anything like that going on, it's probably going to disappear or already has. But easy does it. There is no need to hurry or force things to happen. Everything is occurring in perfect timing. Perfect timing. Inner wisdom. You know what to do. Trust your inner wisdom and take appropriate action without delay. So we're learning to trust our instincts and act on it quickly. And then fairness. The situation will be handled in a fair and just manner. And I said that in that dream with the couple and everything, like everything will be rectified. The wrongs will be made right. So let me just do a blessing, because I'm not necessarily wanting to just draw this on. I'm just, take time for yourself. Make sure that you do your healing and that you just do a lot of self-reflection right now. And look for signs from heaven, because you're being led. And then new beginnings. Take this as an opportunity to rise from the ashes stronger and more determined. Oh yeah, they're mentioning some of you were like worried about the black magic and stuff that, that my friend helped me find. Like, I mean, I knew that there was black magic being put on me. I mean, I've been attacked this whole journey. That was not necessarily a surprise, but them, seeing all the same stuff that I saw was very affirming. Is all I was saying. And I just saw 3666. So 3 is a catalyst, and then 666 could actually be lovers. Sixes are like going to the next level with somebody in a romantic way. So a catalyst for that. I don't know. I guess maybe things that would push your lover to be concerned for you or something like that. It could be that. But I feel like when I was asking Spirit, when I was going through all of that, what I got was that I was being shaped and formed to become a master of, and I just got 111133. So new beginnings, a catalyst for new beginnings. But it's also like the idea of, let me read this to you. I'm just going to read this. I just put it up on my Instagram too. Not that one. That's about true love unions actually coming together. Okay. No matter what negative energies are directed at you, love always wins. But you must master staying in a love vibration through the loudest storms and learn to be in the eye of the storm in complete peace within your heart space. The best thing you can do if feeling attacked is give you the love and protection you crave. Run into your own arms, your own embrace, put your hand on your heart and say, I love you. I'll see you through anything. You are the love of my life. I will never desert you. I will always be here for you. We got this. And radiate that love out to the world, asking for your enemies to be healed in the light of love, and for them to have epiphanies and realizations that bring them peace. And, of course, as always, laugh and laugh hard. Evil cannot stand against good-hearted humor. So, yeah, that's the message that I had gotten, was that it was to help me become a master of that very thing. Supporting myself, being there for myself, being even understanding the realms of dark magic and things like that. Being able to see through things and see through facades, not falling for psychopaths or narcissists and gaslighting and all that stuff that I used to fall for in relationships. Becoming wiser. Okay, so if you've been going through that, we're not ever just being taken down. It's like, so, some of you are like, but I feel like I'm being punished. I'll never get out of it. It's just a trap in hell and I'm in quicksand. It's like, okay, your attitude is going to make it so. So quit believing that. So you got to know that you're on a divine path and it's all happening for a reason. That's why I have that exercise. Thank you, God, for my misery. Okay? Because it'll help you to see that there is a divine purpose behind it. There is a divine reason behind it. You just have to reach for it. You just have to look for it. You have to see it. And you have to climb out of that quicksand. And then you will become like a Jedi Knight. You will become like super mega strong and impenetrable. So it's not to take you down. It's to make you absolutely, so strong. Okay, so so I reached for 4 question cards. I'm just doing what Spirit says. I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to draw this out. In fact, I'm wanting to end it, but I feel like Spirit keeps going, okay, reach for that. Okay, reach for that. Okay. So, what is my life like when it's imbalanced? when it's in balance. Sorry. Oh, that's funny. So maybe take a look at both. What does my life look like when it's unbalanced? And then what does my life look like when it's balanced? And if you have no clue what it looks like when it's balanced, then you may be addicted to drama, you know? So maybe try to figure that out. Maybe try to seek that out. What does it feel like to actually be balanced in your feminine and masculine energies? Just to me, that just feels like you're calm, you're cool, and you're in your power. And you'll do whatever you're prompted to do by spirit. That's what feels like balance to me. Okay, the next question is, what would I do if I had enough time? And what do I do when I have time? Do you waste your time? Or do you actually make the best of that spare time? And do you feel guilty for taking time for yourself? Just really take a good look at what would I do if I had enough time? Or will you make the time, they just said. Will you make the time? You can push things around in your schedule and make things happen if you really want. And yeah, how do you want to be spending your time, they just said. Okay, so the next question is, name all the things you love. And are you one of them? Today's mantra for that card is, I give myself all the love and attention I need. So again, pointing back to you taking the time that you need to. Push everything else aside. Take some time to meditate before bed. Just take that time for yourself. Quit thinking about everybody else and all the stuff that you got to get done. And it just takes some time to recharge your batteries. Okay, the last card is, the last card in this that I just pulled for the questions. Am I apologizing for my truth? Wow. What part of you is apologizing for your truth and why? Today, be proud of your truth. Catch yourself when you want to apologize or withhold parts of it. You never know whose life you will change when you are brave enough to speak it. Be the lighthouse that shines on the courage that lives in all of us. This will give others permission to speak their own truth. There's room for all of us. Courage is contagious, you guys. Do something courageous with your truth. Okay, so I just feel like pulling some Moonology cards, and I think we'll be done with the message for today. Maybe we'll have a message from Spirit every day. I have no idea. This isn't anything planned. I didn't plan on having those dreams or even feeling urged to tell you. I've had lots of dreams I did not tell you guys. But for some reason, it just felt like this was going to be important. And it just popped in my head a second ago also to think about the symbolism of the horse and the rat. Now, for me, I love rats. I love them so much. Oh my gosh. They're just so sweet. If you can get past the tail, they are the sweetest, most loving little animals. Oh my gosh, they're amazing. And they're so resourceful and clever and funny, and they have such a great sense of humor if you get to know them. And I love horses. Those are like probably a couple of my favorite animals. But we also have the year of the horse and the year of the rat in Chinese astrology. So if anybody knows, if any of you study that stuff, if you could put it down in the comments, that'd be awesome. But check to see if anybody else put their thing down first, because I'm gonna have to read it over and over and over again if you guys recreate the wheel. So in the Moonology cards, you've got you and your loved ones are safe. So we always wonder about that, like you're like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen with my cats? How are they going to feel if I do this? Or like, how are my kids going to feel if I do that? Or if I bring them to a new school? And I just don't want to uproot things. I don't want to. I'm telling you though. Okay, so here's another thing. If life gives you some kind of random opportunity, some synchronistic things happen, and you get given an opportunity, do not use your head. Do not use your head and try to talk yourself out of, I would totally go for that if I had more time right now, but I really have to focus on this. Don't use your logic. Always go with intuition. Always go with the synchronicities and signs. I just had a friend of mine, and I just had that talk recently. She was given this really cool little opportunity, but it was still like, I told her, I said, whoa, dude, if that were me and that happened to me, I would jump on that fast. She's like, yeah, but I have to focus on this, that, and the other thing. I was like, what's telling you that you have to focus on this, that, and the other thing? That's just your brain. Your brain does nothing to help you. You will spin your wheels. Dudes, I'm speaking from experience. Because and when I say dudes, it's an accentuation. Because I spent years trying to develop a business using my head, years ago. I'd rack my brain. I got to do this, and I got to do that, and nothing ever happened. Nothing ever happened with it. It never got off the ground. I think I got one client. Oh my gosh. So, yeah, it does not work to use your head, you guys. You may get lucky in there sometimes because Spirit's got your back, but no, listening to those intuitive promptings, now that's where it's at. Okay. Hold your vision is the next message. Hold your vision has to do that's that whole thing of just holding true to yourself and looking at the track on the other side, which is your true self, right? So hold that vision of what you want to start seeing in our world or in your own vision. What do you need to release? You got to release any and all negativity and toxicity or inauthenticity in any way, and cut your losses. You got to cut your losses in order to, prune yourself and get ready for this next stage of your life. The end of a tough cycle approaches. Okay, so that goes along with that New Dawn card saying the hardest things are now behind you. So we've turned some kind of a corner, you guys, and we have a new beginning happening. Don't apologize for your truth. Seek for fairness in all things. Authenticity. Listen to your inner wisdom. This is a new beginning, and it could be a new beginning for your love life. And I just got a really great story yesterday. I have you guys ask me all the time, like, oh my gosh, and I just looked at safe and sound. No, we are safe and sound, and there's a picture of a house and a tree and birds, and it looks really peaceful and beautiful. So we're coming into that. You're going to be okay. So, and you're going to find that home within you first. You have to find the home within. You have to find the comfort within first. Learn to be that for yourself, and then it will appear in your physical experience. Anyway, so in Instagram, I noticed a long-term client of mine who was always focused on, she was a divine feminine, she had a true love, and she was always completely focused on her spirituality. And she just inspired the hell out of me. I was just like, you're such a beautiful person. She was all about consciousness and really trying to see through the eyes of love in everything that she did. And she just had a knowingness that this was her true love, like we all have. And it's like she was just so I don't want to get caught up in this, and she would get caught up in it like we all do. She'd get caught up in the whirlwind of it. She'd have a conversation or something happen that would upset her, and things, there would be a little bit of an upheaval, and this would happen and that would happen, and then it would be like, okay, I give up again. I give up. You always have to come back to that in true love. You always have to give up the need to control it. You have to just release it. You may even say, I hate this. I can't stand this anymore. I'm so angry, and I can't go through one more disappointment. I can't go through one more. No, I'm not even going to look anymore. I'm not even, forget it. Forget the whole thing. You got to keep coming back there, because she kept doing that. And she kept coming back to her heart center and coming back to her own spiritual growth and development, and just blossomed so beautifully as a human being and as a woman. And she is such a great example of a divine feminine. So I followed her a little while ago. I don't remember when I did, but I'm glad I did. Because all of a sudden I randomly saw it in my feed, a picture of her being pregnant. And I was like, I don't remember. I wonder what happened there, And I looked at the other pictures that were with it, and she had just had a baby. And there was this man holding this baby. It was just this precious picture. And then he's singing a song really softly and sweetly to this baby. And it was just so heartwarming and so beautiful. So I sent her a message and I said, oh my gosh. Is this your guy? Is this your true love that we talked about all these years? She goes, Amy, it is. It's him. And I said, oh, I knew you guys were going to make it. I knew you would. I believed in you. So it was I just got chills. So she's a perfect example, you guys. Let go, let go, let go. Apparently she says he just decided he's going to move to be closer to her, and he left his relationship apparently. And they talked things out. They had a good heart to heart, and they began their new journey. They, have been dating for a while now, and yeah, and she's just had a baby with him. She's had a baby with her true love, and how much better can you get than that? So, let's see. Don't let pride get in your way. So, don't let pride get in your way. That, if it had to do, that masculine had a lot to apologize for. He had chosen somebody else for a while there, that he probably knew was wrong, because they always know deep in their hearts that they've made the wrong choice. And then they get stuck in it, as we all know, with these karmic relationships, and they get abused and treated wrong. They even have, they break out in rashes, or they, they just feel like throwing up around the person sometimes. It's the craziest stuff that happens when you choose a karmic. So, he'd gone down that path, and he had to humble himself and not let pride get in his way. And as a result, he's got the love of his life and a beautiful family shaping and forming. It's time to release negativity, guys. Even if it seems like harsh or hard to do, it really needs to happen. There's not room for drama in your life anymore. There just isn't. So either people get honest with you and they get, really, they've probably had a million chances already. So it's like time to cut your losses is what I'm feeling. Confidence is your key to success. So believe in yourself. And then believe in the impossible. So, when I was flying in that roller coaster in the fog, it didn't seem possible that I was going to live. you know? And I just stayed focused on what was coming up ahead. It's possible that there's another side to this. It's possible that we're going to land on a track over there somehow, And I look up and there it is. There's the track hanging that we ended up landing on. Thank God, But that's our true self. I don't know what the fog would be. I guess the fog would be all the illusions that we're believing about who we are. You got to drop the facade and drop the fog to be able to see clearly. But at the same time, the fog kind of needed to be there, because if there was no fog, can you imagine how horrifying that would be to be flying through the air over to the other side? Oh gosh. Now that I think of it, I'm kind of grateful for the fog, right? So, but just, there are benefits to that fog. It's a good thing to have that illusion for various reasons. It really shapes and forms us and helps us become the masters that we're being shaped and formed into. So it's all happening for a reason, you guys. We have a brand new beginning now. Incredible things are going to be happening going forward. Yeah, we have even a second chance, I feel. So maybe, and I just pulled a card, gratitude list. Maybe just count your blessings and feel grateful for what you already have. It helps you be centered in your heart instead of fixated on worries. What are you grateful for right now? Keep focusing on that, and you'll discover the amazing generosity of the universe. All right, so let me do a blessing for everybody, just to assist with these energies. And there was a lot of information there. It ended up being a hell of a lot longer talk than I was anticipating. But that's okay. I just do what I'm told. All right. Hama na te en sa se la ha. Haishe na te ki pum puma an. Tan tai la na e sa se. Chichi na ai ke la an. Hapoma ma ana e. She na hai he la an kai in san se. She la puma hana te ki la an ha ans. She la he na ta te ken san se la. He pe mama na aila, he ke na tai, ana chin sa se la eke na ai, ho ma ana tai, shana ta tai kan san san la ta ti pum pum, hala he na shi kins e na pumama e na ke, ha sa se na shi e la, hoke te na san se e na oma an. Yeah. One last Kuan Yin card and we're done here. What do you have to say now, Kuan Yin? Look for my signs. I've been speaking to you through signs in the world and feelings in your heart. Can you hear my reassuring voice? When you ask me for a sign, I give it. Notice what is happening in the world around you and take comfort and believe. All right, you guys, have yourselves a beautiful day, and I'll talk to you next time.